Guys, I just got out of a screening of Terrifier 2, a part of its re-release this fall. Check it out. I know you've seen it all over Twitter, everywhere online. If you are a fan of the franchise, that is a bad shot of it. But this is the Terrifier 3 poster that they gave out at the screening. Guys, Terrifier, the whole franchise so far, is what horror fans have been clamoring for years now. If you think about it, the horror icons that we love and know today all came out in the 80s for the most part. The Freddys, the Michaels, the Jasons, Leatherface, 70s. And it is refreshing as hell to see Art the Clown on the big screen. So alright, I guess without further ado, let's get into the review.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Terrifier 2. Directed by Damien Leone, 2022. This Terrifier sequel centers around our new main character, Sienna, and her little brother as they are terrorized by the killer clown of Miles County, Art the Clown, on Halloween night. Now, there's a lot of things that make the Terrifier universe work. A, the special effects. B, David Howard Thornton's great performance as Art the Clown. B, or C, or 3, or whatever the hell one we're on now, it's David Leone's awesome vision. Not only is he the director of this movie, and the writer, and the editor, but he is also the special effects artist. And that goes a long way, because the scenes that he is writing, he is also directing. And he is also bringing those scenes to life with his practical effects. Now, let's also give Lauren Lavera her due. She plays our main heroine, Sienna. And I see things online equating Sienna to the greatest final girl in horror already, and she's only gotten one film. Imagine what she'll do in Terrifier 3, 4, 5, or 6. I mean, Lauren Lavera knocked it out of the park, and I think that is due in part to Damien Leone's writing. I mean, he wrote Sienna to be a very likable, a very relatable character. There is scenes in here where you can relate, you feel bad for her, and that is what really brings Terrifier 2 steps ahead, miles ahead of Terrifier 1. If you've seen Terrifier 1, you know what I'm referring to. Terrifier 1 is kind of a slasher, paint by numbers, it's chaos without a meaning. There's not really a story behind Terrifier 1. It's kind of Art the Clown going around killing people, which works, okay? There's a reason that Terrifier 2 was made. Terrifier 1 set the precedent for what Art the Clown can do and will do to his victims. I mean, just look at the upside down chopping in half scene. That just set the bar for Art the Clown. It basically warmed us up or introduced us to Art the Clown a step further than All Hallows Eve did. If you didn't know, All Hallows Eve is the first film that Art the Clown appeared in, which is what spawned the Terrifier movie, and Terrifier spawned Terrifier 2, and Terrifier 2 went miles ahead of Terrifier 1, adding this story. And guys, this story has elements of fantasy, elements of horror, mystery, thriller, action. It's just an amalgamation of so many genres, so many tropes. It is just a masterpiece in my opinion. As you can see, I'm gushing over this movie. I love Terrifier. I love the independent nature of this movie. This movie was fan-funded. That is why I wanted to go see it for the re-release last night. I felt that I need to go out, support, and also I wanted to get this badass poster. This is a bad-ass poster. I think what makes Art the Clown so endearing to horror fans is that he is scary. Scary as hell. But he also has that likable or comedic nature to him, like a Jason in the later installments, like a Freddy in the later installments. Welcome to primetime, bitch! But Art the Clown does all of that comedy very subtly with his facials, with his mannerisms, his over-the-top dramatization of whatever is going on in the scene. I mean, David Howard Thornton is amazing. Just look at the Halloween store scene in Terrifier 2, when Art the Clown is in the Halloween store, and he is terrifying, no pun intended, Lauren Rivera's character, and he's just trying on sunglasses. He's just sitting there trying on different pairs of sunglasses. But he's so funny that you can't help but be enthralled with what Art the Clown is going to do next. But at the same time, you are creeped out and scared because you don't know who this guy is, what this thing is. You don't know why he's following our main character, Sienna. And it's just very eerie. The whole theming and the whole ambiance of Terrifier is so well executed by Damien that it really sets the mood. Before you even hear any of the characters speak, you just are put into that world. You are inserted into that world. Whether it's the way that Damien Leone decides to light the scene, how he decides to cut up the scene. Speaking of cutting up scenes, the way that Damien Leone transitions into the dream sequences in Terrifier 2, and the way that he holds, and he's not afraid to hold on these dream sequences and these shots to get his point across. I mean, Terrifier 2 is about 2.5 hours long. It is, I'm pretty sure, the longest slasher in horror history. But these dream sequences, they just go on and on and on, to the point where I forgot that we're even in a dream sequence. The first time that I saw Terrifier a year ago when it was first released, I was so encapsulated in what was going on in the dream sequence when Art the Clown is setting everybody on fire and he pulls out his Tommy gun and he shoots everybody on the set of that commercial for Art Krispies. It's just crazy, over the top stuff that you just love to see. It's so refreshing, and that's what I just keep saying over and over again. These dream sequences, the fantasy elements. I mean, in so many horror movies, it's the villain who is demonic or supernatural, and he continues to come back and stalk or kill or just terrorize the heroine. But in Terrifier 2, Lauren Rivera's Sienna is also supernatural, or there's elements of spiritual things happening in the subtext of the movie. When she comes back to life, or she is healed from her wounds in her battle with Art the Clown at the end of the movie, and she then comes and she hacks away at his neck. I mean, it's great stuff, but it leaves a lot of questions to be answered, and none of those questions are answered in the 2.5 hour runtime. That is the only gripe that I would have with this movie, is that it doesn't give any answers to the questions shown. But I have faith in this director. I mean, if he's shown us anything, it is that we can put our trust as horror fans into him, and we are safe with him. So I'm sure in Terrifier 3, Damien Leone is going to answer some questions, and I'm sure that the lore and the mythology is going to be built upon. Guys, if you haven't seen Terrifier 2 and you love horror, you have to go see it. This movie probably has the most gruesome kills, the most gore that you will ever see in a horror film. It is amazing that this director was able to make this movie and release it unrated. That is almost unprecedented in today's day and age, where all movies have to go through the process of mainstream box office theatrical releases, and you have to get that R rating, and you have to be put in this box. But Damien Leone is doing his own thing, and he is killing it. Okay, you have to go support this guy. This movie is awesome. There's not much more that can be said. If I had to rate Terrifier, I would rate it an 8.5 out of 10, and that is coming from a big fan of this movie. I love this movie. I only give it an 8.5 out of 10 because I feel like there is room to make art better. There is room for this story to grow once it starts to answer some questions. And once we have some mythology behind this franchise, the sky is the limit. I feel like Art the Clown is going to be an icon in horror if he is not already. And Terrifier is going to spawn so many sequels to come. I can only almost guarantee it. Guys, I've been Maximus Cardillo. There's only one question left to ask. Are you not entertained?